Anyone who thought that Alalu was just a supporting actor in this story was wrong. Alalu had learned much from his ancestor Anshargal, knowing the heavens and the circuits. By Enshar, his forefather, his knowledge was broadened in a grandiose way, and it was like a profound connoisseur that Alalu remembered conversing with a sage about the secrets of the beginning of Nibiru and the times before them. And this secret that Alalu kept led him to the distant planet beyond the hammered bracelet that would one day be called Earth. A long time ago, before many planets in the Milky Way galaxy came into existence, there was a massive planet named Tiamat in the solar system. It was named after its ruler, the draconian dragon queen, who not only governed the world Tiamat, but also ruled over the entire Orion star system after the Great Orion Wars. It was she who established a connection with a royal hybrid race that had been rejected by most known civilizations in the cosmos. The great and first Atlantean king, Anu of Nibiru, joined forces with Queen Tiamat, leading to the creation of 12 hybrid humanoids. These beings were evenly split between males and females, and they stood heights ranging from 30 to 35 feet tall. They possessed both reptilian and humanoid characteristics, just as the native Atlantean royals. These offspring, entrusted to An and their descendants, became known as most of the Igigi, the titanic workforce class of Nibiru. However, their peaceful union did not endure, leading to a conflict between the Atlanteans of Nibiru and the dragon queen Tiamat. Tiamat gave birth to son Kingu and raised him to fight in her reptilian army of 50 to 60-foot-tall dragon-human hybrids, pitting them against the 10-14-foot-tall Atlanteans. Tiamat, who ruled over all the planets in the solar system, granted her son Kingu 2 celestial gifts for his leadership role. The first gift was the powerful cosmic tablets of destiny, which allowed the holder to track and control the orbits and trajectories of planets and solar systems. The second gift was an abundance of gold extracted from the planet Tiamat itself. During the celestial battles, Nibiru's main mothership unleashed immensely powerful blows and evil winds upon the planet Tiamat, ultimately obliterating it entirely. Queen Tiamat and Kingu emerged unharmed, but the planet's other half was separated, forming a distinct planet now known as Ki, or Earth. The debris and rocks from this event created what we now call the asteroid belt, or the hammered bracelet. Initially, the planet Ki was abundant with gold, a valuable resource to the Anunnaki Atlanteans. Over time, it became a legendary myth among the Atlantean people, and this was the secret from the beginning and the Battle of the Gods, which Alalu knew all. Finding gold at the hammered bracelet was confirmation. The gold on the hammered bracelet was the hint of gold on top of ancient Tiamat. The secret of the beginning that he had been taught began to show clear signs of its veracity. And it was thus that Alalu awoke, not knowing how long he had slept. The escape from Nibiru was just the beginning of a new story, a new time, and a new world. Taken of courage, Alalu arose, perceiving a luminosity out of his ship, such as he had never seen on Nibiru. It was the sun. Alalu stretched and gauged over the ship and tested the planet's air. The ship's door, and with the hatches open, he breathed the air deeply. And then again. Ki's air was undoubtedly compatible. Then, without protective suit, Alalu descended from his ship. The light was too bright and the sun's rays were overwhelming. He had to go back and put a mask to protect his eyes, and he took the opportunity to equip himself with a gun with a collector. He stepped onto the dark ground and walked into the swamp. With the collector, he tested the water, but it was not fit for consumption. The waters were murky, dark, and greenish. And there was one more important detail that his eyes glimpsed. There were fish, a lot of fishes. Alalu went towards the hills. He passed among the vegetation and appreciated the bushes that gave way to trees full of fruit. Then he took one of its fruits and put it in his mouth. The taste was sweet. Walking on his feet, it was possible to feel the moisture. He then walked towards a pond of silent waters. Once again, he inserted the collector into the waters, but this time, it was different. It was possible to drink the water. Joy had taken over his entire body. The new world had breathable air, fruit that could be eaten and water to drink. That's when a sound, a hissing, distracted him. His weapon in hand, he looked for the source of the sound, and having found it, fired. The sound ended, and the hissing ceased. Then he saw a body that was motionless, lying dead. The creature had fierce eyes in its small head, and out of its mouth stuck out a huge tongue. The body was slender as a rope, without hands or feet. It was a crawling creature. Alalu wondered what kind of creature it was. He had never seen anything like it on Nibiru. Was it a guardian animal, a master of water? Unanswered, Alalu left the creature behind and found his way back to the ship. Nearby, he collected water and fruits. During the journey, the sun's rays sharply diminished, and thus Alalu was astonished. It got dark, very dark. The suddenness with which it had gone dark was surprising. And over the marsh, a light rose on the horizon. A huge red ball that, as it rose, turned white. Alalu was thrilled. From his ship, he contemplated the infinite and the firmament of a new world. Now, and on the way, he could see all the planets. He witnessed and passed through the hammered bracelet. Alalu decided to wait for a new day rise to investigate the detected presence of gold. If the secret of the beginning of this planet were true, then the waters would rot with Tiamat's golden veins. And there, in the waters or lands of Ki, the gold would be found. At sunrise, Alalu left his ship with the necessary equipment and, seeking the waters, he inserted what was needed to find the gold materials. Watching the meter, the symbols and numbers being filled in, the truth came. It was true. He had found gold in Ki. There was gold on Earth. Taken back in enthusiasm that did not belong to him, Alalu entered his ship in a hurry, and in his possession was a radio communication device. He addressed his message to the depths of space, in the direction of Nibiru. Attention, Nibiru. I repeat, attention, Nibiru. It is your king who speaks to you. It is Alalu, your former king. I left in one of the celestial ships. I gambled my life on the luck of my deeds and very skillfully discovered how to break through the hammered bracelet. The rock belt paved the way, and I have reached the planet of Ki. Its fruits, water, and air is compatible. I am Alalu, the first Atlantean to arrive on the planet of salvation. I have found gold. Yes, I have found gold on the planet Ki. The fate of Nibiru is in my hands. The creator of all has proven my royal lineage is a blessed and rightful one. Pay attention and listen to my conditions. And considering this fact, Alalu made it clear. The fate of Nibiru is in my hands, and you must heed my conditions, said Alalu. The notice that Alalu had survived reached the royal palace on Nibiru and was transmitted to King Anu. Anu was astonished. The counselors and sages had also been surprised. Everyone thought that Alalu had died. The commanders were quickly asked to check all the ships and found that, in fact, one of them had disappeared. Alalu surely would have taken it. With the confirmation, Anu reflected on how he should proceed. He decided to order that greetings be conveyed to Alalu. They conveyed his personal message to Alalu over the transmitter. Greetings, Alalu. I, the King Anu of Nibiru, salutes you. There was no reason for you to leave, dear Alalu. Know that in my heart there is no enmity. If thou hast indeed come to find gold, let the glory of Nibiru be exalted, and let salvation indeed take place. Anu's message quickly reached Earth, where Alalu heeded. In a bellicose tone, Alalu readily answered, If I am to be the savior, then let Nibiru be worthy of my deeds. Let the princes be summoned in assembly and declare my ascendancy supreme. May commanders make me their leader. May they bow to my orders. May I be named king. May my name override Anu on the throne. And may the council and the seven who judge stand by my words. As soon as the words of Alalu reached Nibiru, the consternation was great. How could Anu be deposed? The advisors were confused. Where would Alalu be? Was it true that he had found the gold of salvation? What if it was a ruse? One of the counselors, the oldest of them, made his voice heard in the assembly. He said, "I was the master of Alalu. He knows the secrets from the beginning before Nibiru. Alalu knows the celestial battle, of the gigantic watery planet Tiamat and of the golden veins it inherited. He'd break through the hammered bracelet. He found his destiny on the seventh planet, which we know as Ki." Then a prince of Anu took the word. Alalu cannot demand terms. The calamities were his works, and he lost his throne in combat. If it's true that he found the gold, it needs to be proven. And even if he found the gold, would it be enough? There was silence. The ones who took the word in the assembly was Enlil, the Lord of Command. Enlil is the son of Anu with his legitimate wife, the Queen Antu. The decision of the assembly has been transmitted to Alalu, and then the first Atlantean to arrive on Earth pondered all the points as if he were playing a chess game. The movement of each piece should be meticulous. Alalu agreed and testified of all his journey and the dangers he passed through. From the sampler he took his crystal, from the collector his crystal heart, and inserted the objects into the transmitter for verification. And having sent the proofs over to Nibiru, he addressed new elements of his bargain. He said, "Now that you already have the proof, declare me king and bow to my orders." Alalu's words were stern and sharp. The sages were horrified, but they found that indeed the location of Alalu originated far beyond the hammered bracelet. And to discuss the matter, the assembly met once more. Anu's eldest son had spoken. He was married to Damkina, the daughter of Alalu. He was known as the Wanis whose home was water. Enki was his name. "My birth father is Anu, and by marriage Alalu turns out to be my father as well. The intention of my marriage was to unite the clans. Allow me to bring unity to this conflict. Let me be Anu's emissary. Let me take the gold from Alalu and deliver it for Nibiru. I will make Alalu the proclaimed king on Earth. And if salvation really reaches Nibiru, let a new battle and plan to take place to determine Nibiru's throne." Enki's words were wise, and they filled the hall of assembly. The advisors complied, and Anu pronounced the sentence. "So be it, and a new fight I will bestow on Alalu. Let the victorious be Nibiru's king." The decision was conveyed to Alalu, who agreed. "I will receive Enki on Earth, and may he obtain the gold of the waters. May he carry out the tests, and that in the future a new battle for the throne of Nibiru will take place." Enki addressed the commanders at the ship's location and began the preparation of the mission. Enki would not use the weapons of terror to break through the hammered bracelet as Alalu had done. He would use water. And then the first question arose. If water was the force and not fire, where would it replenish? It was necessary to store the water in the ship. So, the studies and preparations went on for one complete Shah. It was decided to use the largest of the celestial ships. The destination of the return was calculated, and a tablet of destiny was fixed. 50 heroes were selected for the mission. Anu approved the trip, and so the Anunnaki Atlanteans entered the ship, carrying their space helmets and wearing space garments. Enki knelt in reverence to his father, Anu to receive the royal blessing. Anu said, "Enki, my dear eldest son, it will be a long trip. Safely go and return, and may thy success overtake us on Nibiru." Ninul, his mother, and Damkina, his wife, also bid farewell to Enki, who was the last to join the celestial ship's departure. Then Anzu, which name means he who knows the heavens, was Enki's first commander and pilot of the ship. Anzu lifted the gigantic craft over Nibiru's skies, beginning the mission that would soon reach Ki, also known as Earth. The ship respectfully passed all the planets that honored Nibiru's royalty until it found the fearsome and challenging hammered bracelet. The mission was carefully calculated and prepared, so with jets of water and not with the weapons of terror as Alalu had done. It would smoothly remove the gigantic rocks of the asteroid belt. The whoops of joy as the hammered bracelet erupted were euphoric, but soon gave way to apprehension. Anzu sounded the alarm. To clear a path between the rocks, more water than planned had been used. There would be no water to feed the ship's flaming stones for the rest of the journey. At the head of the gigantic Atlantean ship was Lamu, the red planet that would later be called Mars. Anzu, the skilled pilot, slowed the ship and rounded the edge of a lake, landing onto the planet Mars. Together, Enki and Anzu donned their space helmets and descended to solid ground. A water-sucking pipe was ordered to draw water from the lake into the ship, and it was done. With the ship resupplied, once again the sky giant departed with its final destination addressed to planet Earth. And as soon as they approached Earth and the transmitting signal from Alalu was picked up, they could see the oceans and the dry land contrasting with the tones of snow in